The Sermon on the Mount in Matthew's Gospel ends with one of the famous parables of Jesus, the story of the wise and foolish builders. It appears in both Matthew's and Luke's Gospels, but in Matthew it is used as a warning about the consequences of the way in which we live our lives. The Sermon on the Mount sets out how we ought to behave in relationship to each other. It is a sermon about ethical behavior. It's brought to its conclusion saying that if we fail to live by the teaching we now know to be true, then we are building our houses on sand, and they will surely fall. A very punchy ending, but then the whole Sermon on the Mount never pulls a punch. Let's turn to it now, and I'll be reading Matthew's Gospel, the 7th chapter, verses 21 through 29. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many deeds of power in your name? Then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Go away from me, you evildoers. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. Now when Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were astounded at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as their scribes. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
Thanks be to God.